Hello everyone, welcome to the channel update for August. Hope everyone's July went pretty well, heat waves notwithstanding. You can blame me for that. I think my weather summoning spell last winter went awry and ended up bringing in all the moisture into my region in July. Because we got like 8 inches of rain and it's been mild in the 80s for weeks now. So yeah, sorry, you can blame me. It's okay, you can blame me. Anyway, onto the channel stuff. King of Dragon Pass just recently wrapped up. The response to that was quite positive. Lots of people even said that they went out and purchased the game afterwards, which is always a nice thing to see and hear. The iOS version that they came out with a number of years ago, the game is originally from 1999, and they ported it to iOS fairly recently, really just within the last few years. And that did well enough, along with, a number of people playing it on YouTube, and that let them produce a new game called 6 Ages, set in the same world of Glorantha, although I think it's at a different time period. But otherwise, very much in the same vein. It's out on iOS right now, and they're planning to get it out, I think they said in January 2019. They didn't like my characterization of it'll be a year before it's out on PC when I mentioned that on Twitter. They responded to that saying that they're planning to get it out in January, I think. But you could definitely expect to see a Let's Play of that when it does come out on PC. I'm looking forward to it. Ever since I first heard about it. So. And there's also been people saying that they hope that it makes a reappearance on the channel later, King of Dragon Pass. And it probably will. I might do it as a stream. I'd been meaning to play the game for quite a while, but it's kind of a pain to record. Low resolution, the way that it displays on your screen is bad, to put it mildly, if you window it, which is also hard to do. Well, not hard to do, but complicated to do. And then getting it to record and everything like that. It's not the easiest game to get recorded. But you can definitely expect it to show up on the channel again sometime in the future. Like I said, I've been meaning to do it for quite a while. I started to do a stream of it back in 2013, or I did a brief stream of it. I think I was playing Dungeon Hack, and it finished up early, and I was like, all right, let's play something else, and pulled out King of Dragon Pass, and it did not go very well. it crashed and burned pretty quick. But I'd been meaning to do a Let's Play ever since then, and finally, it only took 5 years, It's reasonable, right? Replacing King of Dragon Pass, of course, is Dreamfall: The Longest Journey, a sequel to The Longest Journey. I've been looking forward to playing this for quite a while. It's basically it's like a point-and-click adventure game, but not point-and-click, because it's 3D, 3D world and everything like that. It's very story-heavy, and I feel like the puzzles are integrated better than they were in the previous game, so... but I've been looking forward to playing it. For a game that came out in 2006, it looks pretty good, I think. I definitely do enjoy the atmosphere and the layout. Some of that might actually be like post-game updates or something like that. I mean, not mods per se, but I think they may have modified the game. Funcom might have, updated the game a few years later to better work with high-resolution graphics or something like that, because some of the images I've seen, screenshots of the game, it looks pretty different. Character models are different and stuff like that, but that might also be the Xbox version. I don't know. I've never seen that. The game definitely was designed for Xbox initially, originally, because the control scheme with the mouse and keyboard is not the greatest. It has a very squirrely camera, and the controls are pretty squirrely. Definitely would be better if I used a controller, I think, but I tried to get a controller to work just to try it out, and it didn't like my controller, so I just was like, it's not worth the time. Just use the keyboard and deal with the squirrely camera. But it's definitely a lot of fun to play. I've been having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far as well. Of course, we've got Dragon Quest V, Hand of the Heavenly Bride, going strong. I did pose a question recently on how to handle the 3 potential brides. You choose one of the 3, and I asked whether people would like to see, various story events and party talk dialogue with the other wives, interspersed or at the end, and the response was pretty overwhelmingly, if I do it, save it for the end. So that's what I think we'll do. Of course, Stellaris Distant Stars, probably going to be wrapping up pretty soon, although I think I may have said that last month. The game really, really does chug late game, but at the same time, it's like, I want to defeat everyone, so we'll see. But it should be wrapping up pretty soon, probably within a couple weeks. We'll see how it goes. And I'm getting the UFO Defense stream posted up, 2 videos a day. Lots of people enjoying that. There's a lot of videos in that because it was 16 streams, and each of those streams were pretty long. So it's going to be a while before that's completed entirely. And then I'll move on to the Terror from the Deep stream, which of course is currently streaming on Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So do check that out if you have not. And then of course the Spelljammer campaign still going strong on Saturdays at noon Eastern Time. Having lots of fun with all of those. Let's see, what else? That's basically it for what's going on the channel right now. So there's been some question about how I'm going to handle, redoing the poll that I ran last month, and I did come up with a way to do that. Initially, I was going to just put up the options on YouTube. The problem is that the YouTube poll mechanism only allows for 5 entries. Add another option. Boom, 5. Why? Like, I mean, I can understand, obviously they've got to have a limit somehow. But 5? That's really, really small. So what we're going to do instead is over on Patreon, I have posted a preliminary vote for the next LP. And it has all 12 options. Those who are supporting me on Patreon can vote for one, and then I will take the top 5, and I will hold a public poll on YouTube for those 5 entries. So, yeah, it'll be a little bit longer before that gets done, but I actually sat down this morning to set all this up, do the update video, and I was like, all right, let's go create that poll. Boom, 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 boom. Wait, 5? Seriously? 5. Really? So, anyway, that's pretty dumb, honestly. In other related news, I have posted up on the Partying with Friends playlist the Zerfall charity stream for the MS Bike Ride 2018. He's posted them, and I've put them into the playlist. So they're all the way at the bottom. But there's the Trivial Pursuit, which was a lot of fun. We were actually playing a 1989 C64 British version of Trivial Pursuit, which had some really insane questions. we very frequently went to the we very frequently went to a couple boxes that Zerfall had there of more recent Trivial Pursuit questions. Although they were Canadian, so there was an element of too Commonwealthy on some of them. Then we did Bracketeering, Fibbage 3, and Civic Doodle from Jackbox Party Pack 4, I believe. Zerfall did a speed run of Super Clue Land. There was Reigns with the chat making the decisions with polling. And then 2 runs of 100 World Story. I played in Part 2. And then King of Chicago, where with me helping out doing some voices. I was participating in all of these. I was just like there for the chat in these 3. But do check those out if you weren't able to catch the stream. Please take a look at these videos. It was a lot of fun. 12 hours of actually it was over 12 hours, like 14 hours I think it ended up being. It was a lot of fun. We ended up hitting our goal after the stream completed, and Zerfall has completed his bike ride. So all of it has been quite successful. I want to thank everyone who did come out and help support the charity, help support by watching the stream and participating in the games and everything like that. It was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward again to doing it again next year. I hope you guys are as well. That's basically it there. Going back to Patreon, I have hit my next goal, past the $400 mark, so I will be hosting regular multiplayer games. Right now I'm looking at probably 1 per month. Obviously, a lot of this is going to be based on what the reaction is and stuff like that. If there's a lot of positive reaction, a lot of people are having fun and stuff like that, I may, do it a little bit more often. If I don't get much reaction, if not many people show up, then, it'll peter out, that sort of thing. So, for now, I'm looking at doing the first one this month, the second weekend of August. Haven't decided yet if it'll be Saturday or Sunday. Sunday would be a little bit earlier, probably around 1 or 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday would be later after the AD&D game, probably looking at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. Eastern Time, which would preclude a lot of people in Europe, although being a Saturday, tends to be easier to stay up for a lot of people too. So, not really sure. If you have a specific desire, like something is good for you, something is not good for you, feel free to come by Discord and let me know. Same thing with games. I'm looking at doing the first one with Stellaris, but that would be, that would be the first thing that we do. Again, I'm going to do pretty much all of this through Discord. Even if people don't want to join the voice chat, that's going to be open. You can always just join it and listen and not talk if you want, mute yourself kind of thing. But the room codes and everything like that, those will be on Discord for people who want to join in. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Like I said, if there are other games that you would like to participate in, other games that you would like to play with me, feel free to join Discord and mention it, and I will definitely take those under advisement. Other than that, the only other thing really going on is I've got another AD&D deity up on my blog, Merrshaulk the Serpent Lord, who's the deity of Yuan-Ti. So if you are interested in Dungeons & Dragons stuff, check that out and take a read through it. Let me know what you think. Other than that, that's really it for channel update and stuff like that. The poll situation was a big disappointment, but I'm hoping that having, doing it this new way will solve the problem kind of thing, and we won't have any more problems like that going forward. Straw poll would probably still work for a lot of things if I add some more security options in. I didn't choose all of those, partly because they were off by default, and I just didn't want to put people through a hassle, but I may have to do that. So, and if we get a problem with the poll here on YouTube, the bar for stuffing the vote should be a lot higher, but I'm hoping that that'll be high enough that it won't be a problem. If it does, I will have the results on Patreon, and I'll go back to that. And that may end up being what happens. If we have problems with this going forward, these things are just going to end up being Patreon only, because I know that I can secure that just based on the fact that only people who are patrons can answer those polls. And I don't want to have to do that, but that's the kind of thing that may end up having to happen. So, but that does bring me to a very unrelated and political thing. Responsible voting is, in my opinion, I mean, it's one of those big things. I feel like anyone in a free and fair democracy, or a democracy that claims to be free and fair, has not only a right, but an obligation to vote. So if you're in a country like that, please do so. Go out and vote. Every election, special elections, ballot questions, vote on them all. It's pretty easy to do some basic research on a lot of these things. Here in the United States, there's League of Women Voters Guides that have responses from the candidates and stuff like that. And while those are in their own words, and they could certainly be lying, it's a better indicator of what they are interested in doing than a lot of other things, especially like campaign advertisements and stuff like that can be. But definitely, get out and vote. It really is incredibly important to make your voice heard. And the ballot stuffing on straw poll probably wouldn't have been necessary. I mean, some people probably wouldn't have felt it necessary, or they would have had a much harder time, like, shaping the outcome if more people had voted. I think the total number of votes ended up being around 200, 250 of what I was pretty sure were legitimate votes. And I got 10,870 subscribers on my channel right now. That's this very, very, very small percentage of the total number of people who are subscribed to my channel who actually went out and voted. So please do. Make your voice heard. When I post the top 5 on YouTube, please do come out and make your voice heard. You get an opportunity to decide a game that I play next. Sure, it'll have a limited number of choices and stuff like that, and sure, you may not actually be all that interested in most of them, but at least pick the one that you would rather have me play over the others. So that's kind of how I feel about voting in general. You should vote. Everyone should vote. Always make your voice heard. Anyway, I want to thank everyone for supporting me on Patreon, who has been supporting me there. It really does mean a lot, and the idea of people willing to, support me monetarily directly for producing these videos is still... It still blows my mind that people want to do that. So, I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate all the comments and all the positive feedback, people coming out to the streams. It all means a lot to me. And I think that's one of the reasons why seeing the ballot stuffing bothered me so much because I so many people do support me and like take time to comment and stuff like that, and to see that there were a couple people who were willing to clearly throw the vote. I mean, like, the idea that I wouldn't cancel that after seeing that, I don't understand how someone didn't expect that. The two people. It was definitely two people as far as I can tell. Because one of my tabs locked up in the process of the voting overnight, and it captured a snapshot when one of the options was at 60 rather than 200, and the other one was just behind it. In fact, the responses were reversed. So it was pretty clearly a couple people who basically decided, no, I want to have the voice. Not everyone, not just have a voice, but I want to have the voice. And they saw that someone else was trying to do the same thing, and they just competed. Like, one person would bump it up a few, and then another person would bump it up a few, and then they would bump it up a few, and the other person would bump it up a few, until finally one of the two was just like, screw this, 100 votes or something like that, and took it up to 200. And that was really disappointed that some people would do that. So, I mean, things like that, they're going to happen if you don't properly secure the system, and hopefully with the changes that I'm going to do, that will be secured. But we'll have to find out in just a couple weeks. Anyway, look forward to talking to you all in the comments, Discord, stream chats, everything like that. Thank you all for watching, and I'll have another update in September. See you then, everyone.